Welcome to What's in the Bag, where we give the voice to the voiceless and we let you say whatever is on your mind. My name is Marvina and I am your host. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome Mama Early Bird. Welcome to another segment of Early Morning Bag. This is the last segment of the year.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited. 1 year we
Last.
have been on and we have elevated. God has blessed us through this year. I'm excited. I'm
No,
excited.
almost
Good
2 years.
morning.
Almost 2 years that we've been
Yeah, well,
on.
I'm saying we made it through this year. This
Yeah.
year. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, we made it through this year. Okay, and
Yes.
I am excited. We got so much to be excited about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. My goodness.
My mama think I'm crazy too. Man, I'm excited. Happy New Year's to everybody. Happy New Year's. We are on our last day. And I am honored because on this last day, I get to spend my morning with every one of you who watching, even the ones that's going to come in a little later. Thank you. Happy New Year's and all the good stuff. I hope this was a good year. And I hope you take what you used this year and to be continued.
That's
Can
right.
we continue?
Mm, mm.
My pastor was praying this Monday, and I got that out of it. To be continued. I am so grateful because I know he is elevating us from one place to another, and excited
Man, oh
because there's
man.
so much going on and back here in
Yes,
our
yes.
land. We know what's in the bag, so I'm excited. Well, let's go ahead on. Let's go ahead on. Let you know what I got in this cup. Of course, I'm always sugar bound because I love me some sugar. I got me this. My daughter went and got this Kroger hazelnut coffee. I like it. It's a
It's good.
hazelnut.
Okay,
Yeah, it
okay.
actually has hazelnut already. But what she did, which made a lot of sense, is she went and got some of this caramel macchiato.
No, you didn't, but okay.
It's like what's the mocha something. It's good though. It's good.
My BFF.
I messed it up. I messed that up. Well, I don't mind. Y'all can tell me. Y'all can tell me what it is. Y'all can. I like to. I like when people correct me. Correct me. What is it? Maca chata. I was actually looking it up this morning, trying to figure out the name.
I
So
don't even
it's
let me
okay.
put it up to the camera.
Wait, let me show you what the name is. Okay, I know it's from Italian. It's an Italian
Macchiata? I can't even see it. I can't even see it.
Happy New Year! Put your name up there. We can't see you. That's it. Macchiato. That's right. Macchiato.
That's okay. So
Macchiato. Y'all going to Italy. I think it's from Italy. I actually think it is. And then I'm going to Paris afterwards. So after Italy, we're going to Paris. But
take
this is
your trip. Take your trip. I'm not mad at you. Take your trip.
I'm taking my trip. I'm starting my trip early. I'm claiming it in 2022 to take it into 2023. Hey,
That's right.
I'm
That's
so
right.
excited.
Make
Hey,
that vision
BFF.
plain.
Hey, BFF. What's
Hey,
going
good
on, girl?
morning. Good
Everybody,
morning. Good
y'all know my
morning.
BFF. Everybody, welcome my BFF.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year's Eve to all of you guys. And I
Yes,
just want to piggyback off of what Marvina said. Thank you guys for this journey. Thank you
yes,
guys for taking this trip with us this year.
yes,
Go
yes,
ahead and get your tickets and get ready for 2023. Come
we
on to
got
jump
you.
on this train and see where we go with it this year. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
I am
This,
so happy.
We've been
I am
smiling like this for a couple of days now. When I tell you God is good and what He is manifesting here
yes,
and what's in the
God is
bag. And we could not do it without you guys. So
without
thank you
y'all.
guys so
None.
much.
Yes,
And
exactly. Go ahead. What you got in that
and what I'm
cup?
drinking in my cup again is 8 o'clock original coffee. I'm gonna have to start tagging them. Somebody told me start tagging them, so I'm gonna start tagging them. Okay, makers of original 8 o'clock coffee. I'm tearing you guys up and spending a lot of money because you guys are good. And I also have a shot of hazelnut in here.
Oh,
And
hazelnut.
hey, you
You said a shot. I said, what she put in there? Yeah.
look, I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It
I
is
was about
just
to say,
9 o'clock
like,
here though.
I thought you was serious because you shot something. I was like, mm-hmm.
Look, maybe later to help ring in the new
Yeah,
year.
bring that. Now I'll be in church. So 2023 will catch me in church singing my word praises. Then, of course, next morning we're going to church again. And we're gonna bring the New Year's in the day after. I mean, on the day of New Year's, which is oh my
Yeah.
God, what a blessing. But anyway, let me stop boring y'all. I hope I ain't boring y'all. Am I boring y'all? But anyway, so what?
Look. No.
I'm just excited this morning, y'all. New year. I'm just y'all don't even get it. But further ado, we are excited about this. Our next guest. It's a good way to bring in to leave the end of 2022 and bring in the year of 2023 with a testimony.
All
And
right
I'm
now.
asking everyone who's watching, give a little encouragement, say something, let her know, we're here, we're family. She's part of the family now. So I'm just I ain't even gonna bore y'all with any more about my little talks. I'm just gonna bring her on in. Hello, Eva.
Good morning, and welcome to What's in the Bag.
Hello. Yes, welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. You got a cup on over there. Let me see what's in that cup. What's in that cup, girl? Okay, we can't even hear you. Your volume. Do you got your volume on? I can't hear you with your volume. Sorry, y'all. This is
Okay.
what's in the bag. We have
Technical
our
difficulty. We go live, so
we go
just so that you guys know,
live.
this is sometimes what happens when we're live. It's okay.
It's okay. But your volume, I think it's on your phone. It's not muted on my end. I don't know if it's muted on yours. I can't hear you at all. But you can hear me? You can hear me? Can't hear you. You know sign language. I heard you know Spanish. Do you know sign language? You can sign it if you want. Put little man up there. Let him tell us what you was in your bag. Did
Oh, look at him. Oh, hey there.
no man. Yes,
Hey
wow,
there.
little man. All right,
Hey
so you're gonna
there.
have to either come on your phone, log out, come back on your phone. We're gonna entertain everybody till you come back. Until then, we're gonna get you right, okay? So I'm gonna entertain y'all.
We are going to entertain you. Look, you take the high, I take the low.
I take the note.
Ooh.
We gonna entertain y'all. We gonna show y'all how we gonna bring in 2023. But
Yes.
I mean, let me say, since we're on this, let's talk about be open. I really want to talk about be open. We got this new segment coming up called Be Open. It's coming up in January. I really wanted to touch on this. I was gonna do this at the end, but now that we got this time, I'm gonna do it right now. Be open is exactly what it is. We're utilizing it. We're saying we're trying to attract people with addictions, we're saying addictions and things like that, and exactly. But what we're doing is we're trying to put a voice to this. We're literally wanting people to come in and talk and
Mhm.
be open to healing, be open to people's testimonies, people that went down and has came up, people that's up and going down. We just want people to be open once we get once this starts. Um, we have a lot of addictions. You know, I was
Mhm.
told that we needed to make sure we be careful. We're not going to be saying things and doing things that is going to, I said, discard other people. We don't want to do all of that. We're just talking. We're going to be
Yeah.
a group of people, just like we're doing now.
Right.
What's in the bag? We're going
Mhm.
to do the same thing on Be Open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give people we give a remember people we give people a voice we give a voice to the voiceless, and a lot of times people with addictions don't have a voice. They don't. You know, sometimes we see them in what their situation is and what they're going through, but we don't know what mentally what they're going through, what their thought processes is, what different
right.
things of that nature. So this is going to give us an inside look. And remember, healing starts within, and it also starts with the conversation.
That's right.
So knowing that there are other people in that group that can conversate with other people on that same level is going to help people be naked and not ashamed. Be open, be open,
And
be
be
open
open.
to,
And
be
being open
open.
to see, and this platform is going to, we're not telling you not to drink. We're not telling you not to do this or do that. We're just talking about it. That we're doing something different that they're not doing in rooms. Mostly, you have to be a certain way to join. You're going to be who you are when you want to be open. I understand that and I'm not telling nobody to go out and do no drugs. I'm not telling anybody they should do it. None of that.
Yeah.
You just want to talk about it. I have my story. I acknowledge, yes. We also come with acknowledging, yes. I
Yes.
love that. And
Yes.
because we got to realize that even though a lot of people are not in these rooms, we're out here in the streets, we're out here in the world, and
Right.
we need to talk about it. We need to
Yeah.
get it out our bag. So
That's right.
Be Open is coming up real soon. I'm excited about it because I think this is going to be another level where we can help and have some awareness on what's going on out here,
Mhm.
because that's mainly what what's in the bag is. We encourage people. We don't want nobody to come on here, and we're not going to have people cursing you out or those things. There's none of that type of things.
Yeah.
But if somebody say a curse, don't get so wound up
Don't
that
get don't get so caught up because you
and
probably
be
done
caught
said
up
something
on a
worse
curse.
behind the closed
Yes.
doors.
You gotta find where there's a
Yeah.
right there where you might see there's a common denominator or something that need to be somebody touching on. You can help them. Hey, Ron. So yes, that's what Be Open is. Now I think
That's
we're
it.
ready. You
And
think
I
we
got to say this one more
go ahead. I'm
one little
sorry.
thing. And when you come in to be open, remember one thing. It is a judgment free zone. Judgment free. That's all I want to add to that.
Hey, I like that. Ain't all. That's it.
That's it.
Just,
Drop the mic.
just
Pop.
drop the mic. We ain't here to judge nobody. We
No.
here to talk.
Mm-mm.
We're here to, and just because you might see them or know, oh, I know how to. No, we're not here for that. We're
Mm-mm.
here to get it all out. No judgments. Hey, lady, we get ready to get her here. She got.
All right, now let's get ready.
Can you hear me?
We can
We
hear you
can
now.
hear you.
Okay. Good.
Praise
Yes.
God. We can hear you. We are so excited. I am needed to know what was in your bag. I mean, in your cup. That was the first thing we asked. What's in that cup?
Yes, I have lemon and ginger tea.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Yes. Ooh, that sounds so good this morning.
My mama Jane,
Yes.
she loves lemon and ginger tea. So it opens me up. I love that. And what little man got in his cup? Because I seen his cup. Where his cup at? He
Say,
got him a
I had a little breast milk this morning.
All right
You
then.
got him. You know I love the babies.
The
I love the
nourishment. Look
babies.
at him. He is so handsome. Oh, look at him.
Well, Evelyn,
Yes, ma'am.
what is in your bag, girl? What's in your bag?
Woo, child, was not in my bag, okay? Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Like, I feel so blessed to be a part of this opportunity. And, I just hope that this can help someone in the future, young or, even old. I know sometimes when, we come across people, we go based on appearance, and, we could never imagine what a person could have gone through in their life.
That's
For
right.
me personally, I was raised by my grandmother, and I was raised on a farm in Puerto Rico. And, I wasn't raised by either of my parents. So, being raised by an older woman, my great grandmother was also alive at the time. They instilled so many organic things into me, that I could never depart from now. And as I got older and I started learning, the rest of my family, I noticed a pattern of single women, doing things on their own, just powerful. Me and my grandmother, she was a gardener, so every time for holidays or every time we needed eggs, like we'd be at the chicken coop or we'd be in the garden picking, just a wonderful, start to a childhood where, I didn't even notice that I was missing anything. So, fast forward to, when I was older, and then, I started building a relationship with my father and his side of the family. Um, you don't understand when you're going through trauma then. But I went through a lot of things in my childhood, and now I realize that is because a lot of times the adults in my life or the women in my life, either A, did not have a grounded relationship with Christ, B, they did not, choose to help themselves, basically, and, just the trauma of their own lives. And it made me think, now that I'm older and I look back, how I spent uh my early 20s so angry because I felt like they took something from me or they didn't give me enough, because I was diagnosed with depression in the 5th grade because my father at the time, I didn't know. When I came here from Puerto Rico, I was staying with my aunts, and he was still young, and we didn't know he had substance abuse issues. So while I was staying with them, and they had their own kids, so you can imagine what that's like. He would come, pop in and out whenever he wanted to, steal from us. We didn't know at the time, like I said, that he had a drug issue. So as soon as my aunts were like, you can't just come, pop in and out whenever you want to. You're eating our food. You constantly need a place to go. Then he'd be like, oh, well, I'm taking my daughter with me. And it'd be like, and I'd end up in different places with, girlfriends and stuff like that. So it was kind of a volatile situation for a little bit in my life. Like, I feel like in my life, I was born into chaos. And now that I'm older, I see how God used it for my purpose and my good. So, with that being said, after going through these things in my childhood, I did spend some time being very angry. And, you know, I started delving into different lifestyles that were not, becoming to any woman. But here I thought I had the upper hand. I thought that, if I dated multiple men, I could release this anger and get back at the people who helped me, not knowing that I was actually hurting myself. And I was a victim because I didn't understand my own trauma. So, I was going through these relationships and not understanding why I couldn't be made whole. Like I was always, incomplete. There was always something missing. And my family, my grandmother, she raised me up in the word. But once you leave from Puerto Rico and you come here, it's like an extreme culture shock. There's no farms, there's no hogs, nothing like that. So and a lot of the some of the men, like for example, that one of my aunts dealt with, he was a drug dealer, so he was doing this and that, and I was exposed to so many things. So, that's really how my childhood started. Although I got some of the good, I experienced a lot of the bad as well. I've, been molested by members of my own family. I've, you know, gone through some really traumatic stuff. So when I got older, all of that trauma that I didn't recognize, that I didn't, you know, try to heal, it really took over in my behavior when I dealt with men and other people around me. Like I was a people pleaser, because you have these abandonment issues and other things that you're going through that you don't know are a result of, whatever you lacked as a child. So I met this individual, and he was an older individual, and he came in at a period of my life where, transparently, I was suicidal. I had just left an abusive relationship with my daughter's father that lasted 7 years, and that was extremely traumatizing. And once I left from that, I had to stay with a friend for a little while and go through the rigmarole of getting back on my feet. And once I did, I met this man. And here I am sitting here thinking, okay, this individual, he's older. So, he'll give me that knowledge, lead, direct, be a good example. And, over time, I started finding out about this double life, you know. And when do I find out? I find out when it's almost, I hear you. I find out when it's almost too late. So fast forward to, I want to say 2016. Me and this guy are dealing with each other pretty heavy, and I'm helping him with his drug business and just doing things that I know um God is convicting me of. The Holy Spirit is convicting me of, because during this time, as he's living his double life, I started developing a double life as well, because coming from a person who's always, studied the Bible or known about God at least, I knew that, polluting my community, no matter what color, is totally wrong. And, I would always talk to him and I'd be like, well, do you think you're going to ride off into the sunset? Like, do you think that, you know, that we're not going to have to pay in the end? And he said, I don't think like that. As long as it's not my people that are being killed or that are overdosing, because um, we dealt with heroin and cocaine and everything like that. So there came a time where my house had gotten hot, which I'm sure a lot of you know. Once people see traffic coming in and out, the area, people know, so they start calling in, and I noticed that in, every day that I woke up, even in my good job, because I was a supervisor, and I let this man, completely, wrap me around his finger because of what I didn't have. And at the time, I didn't recognize it. I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be in love. So at the time, I was getting ready to move because I already knew what that came with. Someone had already also broken in my house and knew exactly where everything
Oh
was.
wow.
So one of my friends, we have a lot of people come in, you start living that lifestyle, and all of a sudden your house is the entertainment house. People come in, and you can't keep account of people, so you can't say, well, oh, you did this.
Right.
So after that happened, decided to move. And I just told myself, I'm going to start distancing myself. I'm not going to deal with this individual. And, that was going to be it for me. I was very happy in my new house. Had been in there 2 weeks. My kids were satisfied. And so, the weekend before I was arrested, I told my aunt, because she came to pick them up for the weekend, I was going to clean up my house. And, I knew God had already given me several chances. And He had been telling me for a while that my purpose was to teach His word. And I kept running from it, unfortunately. So that weekend, I told my aunt, I told her, I'm going back to studying. I'm going back to studying the word. I'm going back to church. And she was like, you know what? That's so amazing. This guy didn't have the key to my house or anything like that. So go to work that weekend, and I'm getting calls back to back from this individual needing me to go drop off or pick up. And, I'm like, I'm at work, you sweating me about this. In my mind, I'm already starting to try to distance myself. So, he uses the pity card and he's like, well, I just got into an accident. And if you do this, this is going to be the last time, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that was the enemy all day. And I did not, my discernment just wasn't there. So I went home early. Um, I spoke to the person that I was supposed to speak to. Um, was gonna drop that person something off. Everything was fine. Went to work the next day. Person wanted something. He's sweating me again. So I'm like, you know what? This is it for me. So I went to go meet this person again. And when I pulled up to go give this person what I had to give them, um, immediately dozens of police officers come out.
Wow. Wow.
They pull me out of my car. They bust my windows out, pull me out of my car, and they drag the lady away. And the whole time they're like, what are you doing? Because when I listened to the recording, the lady who I went to go deliver the substance to was really looking for the guy. She was like, I don't know this young girl. I don't feel comfortable with her. Can you come? And he's like, no, 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 no. It's okay. You're okay with her. Whatever she brings you is still all mine. So they're listening to this and they're like, and I'm sitting here looking at the detective. Me, I'm stupid and young. And, I'm like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything you found me with was mine. And the detective was like, Ms. Lopez, we know Bobby. We've been watching him. We know him. So, for the sake of your children, make sure that you save yourself. And obviously I wasn't going to do that because I could only imagine, because what the government would, if they would have let me out that night, I'm sure they would have wanted me to try to
Right.
entrap him some way. And honestly, I wasn't going to be a part of that because at that point when they caught me, I knew it was my responsibility. I
Right.
made a choice whether
Wow.
Mm. She'll be back, y'all. She'll be back. Woof. These bags that's getting empty.
Mm, Jesus.
Yes, she's coming. Let's see if we can get you. Help say something. Let me see. I can't hear you on that.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you on this one. Mm-mm. I don't know why. I think it's the microphone. Can't hear you on
Is it
this one.
muted on you? Is it muted on your end?
Yes, unmuted.
No, it's saying on her on Evelyn's
Oh,
end.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
yes, yes,
There we go.
yes, 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 yes.
Sorry about that.
That's
That's
all
okay.
right. All right.
But they said, we know him, and I just told myself, I have to take responsibility. I knew I had made some horrible choices, and I knew already that God was like, this is it. Either you want this with me or you want this right here. You want this
Mm.
man, you keep putting this man above me, you keep putting every other man above me, and you keep ending up a single mother. You keep ending up hurt, you keep ending up confused, and you end up worse than before. So, I didn't say anything. I told them, everything was all mine. And they're like, you're a supervisor. Like, what are you doing this for? And, I told them it's just extra money. I lied. I lied. They took me away. Um, I spent 7 months incarcerated. And, during that time, because I did not know, two people overdosed and died.
Mm.
So I took
Jesus.
that I took that to the heart. The amount of guilt that I had, considering all the things that this man talked to me about. And it's like, our people aren't doing that. They aren't addicted to that type of stuff. It's just the white folks. And I'm like, but that doesn't make any difference.
Wow.
It doesn't make any difference because we're still polluting our communities. And if you could believe me, this man was incredibly intelligent. And I was just like, it's insane what the trauma in our childhood will do to us. We will be grown
Mm-hmm.
people with these childlike minds. So, I was incarcerated, and my family couldn't believe it, of course, because I had never been in that type of trouble before. We didn't know what to expect. They're trying to tell me these two people died, and that's reckless homicide and it's limb bias. So it's a mandatory 5 years per count. So I was facing 40 years.
Wow, Jesus.
So while I was incarcerated, I started getting back with God. Started setting myself aside and being alone with God and going back to the things that I knew. And you know I just felt an overwhelming peace over time. I still had fear, but I had a peace that I couldn't understand. And I would have these dreams while I was in jail. And it was just insane. It was insane. And I'm like, God, like, you're showing me all this. What do you want me to do with this? What can I do? And I started writing a lot of my thoughts down and everything like that. And just teaching myself to love myself and understand myself and understand why I was behaving the way I was behaving, why I was doing the things that I was doing, why I was angry. And a lot of times what women don't understand is, a lot of that trauma, like, is the enemy's way of dissuading you from what your purpose is.
Yes.
And a lot of times we take that to heart so much, and we think that God, is this cold God, and it's not even that. It's just like, sis, he's preparing you, because you have no idea. You could have gone through all these things in your life, and then it'd be the church that's the worst people to you. And you have
Yeah.
to learn to differentiate,
Oof.
the church, the building,
Yes.
the people versus what God is telling you to do. So,
Jesus. Say that.
man,
Oof.
and I I was just I was just in there, really in my thoughts, really in my Bible. I would stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. The guards knew me. I never got in trouble, because it's like, now God is like, I'm gonna get ready to do something for you, because my bail was set at 50,000. The commissioner was not trying to hear
50,000.
nothing about it. Yeah, the commissioner was not trying to hear nothing. My first
Wow.
public defender, he was like, I can't do nothing for you. I'm sorry. And
Wow.
he left the case. So, as I'm progressing, you you think your family is going to be the first people to be there for me or for you, and the bank accounts was drained. My children were suffering, um, especially my son, and it was a very hard time. So I just prayed to God, and I was reading a lot of books, and one of the books that really stood out to me was The Calloused Heart, or The Calloused Soul. But the author was saying that when you want something really bad, you pray it for somebody else. So
Mm.
Wow.
I immediately, started doing that, writing down my prayers every night. I was praying for somebody else. I was trying to intercede on behalf of others, and it just lifted me up so high. That one day, right before my bail was reduced, one day I just had a dream where I was running away from these two individuals, and they were chasing me, and I mean, it was just the worst thing, and it was like corrupted cops or something, and we were running through
Wow.
dark alleys, running, and in my dream I was so scared, and as I was running, I'm like, you have to stop, and you have to face this, and I ended up impaling one of these individuals with something that I found in one of the alleys, and I kept running, and then I get to an intersection where the cars are crossing, and there's a church across the street, and I'm like, oh my God, and then all of a sudden it goes from night to day, and I run to the church steps, and I fall to my feet, and I look at my hands, and I have blood on my hands, and people come out from the church, and they surround me, and they surround me, and they surround me, and they're like, what's going on? And they're like, you have to give your testimony. You have to give your testimony. And I just couldn't say anything because I was just frozen in shock. And this lady in glasses and on a wheelchair, she comes through everybody, and she said she'll give her testimony when it's time. So I kid you not, I have not been able to give my full testimony until today. So
Jesus.
I feel like this was the perfect opportunity to come out, and ever since I was released, because my bail went from $50,000 to $20,000 to $1,000 5 days
Jesus.
ago,
Woo.
and something that's never been even really seen, because if you know anything about Wisconsin, it's a conservative state, and they are not playing about heroin
Yeah.
addiction, heroin addicts, even though this lady stayed in the house with these young ladies and let them die, because we weren't involved. We found out that she was trying to rob them, and she mixed their drugs with something else.
Jesus.
Wow.
But unfortunately, the Limb bias law, the statute, they have a statute for every little thing. It doesn't matter if I would have given them, something that wasn't tainted. Whatever they did with them afterwards was still my responsibility. So
You going in and out. I hate that. Let me see. Okay. So, question for you. I have some questions.
Yes.
I don't know if any of our
You got me over here in tears, Miss Evelyn. I'm sorry.
yes,
Your testimony.
I mean,
Let me tell you.
your testimony is awesome. I know about being incarcerated. I ain't never been in there that long. I know about doing stuff that I shouldn't, and of course the same thing with me. I was raised in the church, so I understand that also. But when did you realize when you said to I think you said your aunt that you was going to go back and start reading the word and you were getting back into the word. Did you know at that time, at that minute, that you made a commitment to God? You made a commitment.
You went into covenant
And you
until
went
I was
into
going to say yes, but you know what?
yes.
Because I knew God, but I didn't have a relationship with Him, I didn't understand at the time what that truly meant. I didn't understand what that truly meant at the time until I was down on my knees in my jail cell one night, and I was just crying so bad, asking God to forgive me, telling Him that, I know what I did wrong, and, these women who passed away, they didn't deserve this. Like, this is a horrible choice that I made. So when I was incarcerated, to be honest, that was the happiest I was. I was at rest.
wow.
I didn't have to look behind me. I didn't,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was the best time of my life to spend that time with God and understand that He is real, understand how He works, how He talks to you. And a lot of women don't know that they have dreams, and it's God telling them, sis,
Yes.
come on, we
Yes,
got to
ma'am.
get this together. And that's why it's
Yes.
important,
Especially when you You commit yourself. I mean, he
Mhm.
held me accountable for a lot of stuff also.
Yeah.
We have commitments, but we have to go through first to, you know, we can look at it as bad, but we got to go through a process. And it normally,
Yes.
if you read the Bible, throughout the Bible, he always took someone through a process to get where he
Mhm.
needed
Amen.
to be.
Amen.
And no matter how it feels to us, you have David, they went to jail, the people done had stuttering problems, alcoholic problems, they had
Yeah.
I am gonna call it for hoish problems, I guess
Yep.
they prostitutes, and he
Yep.
Mhm.
always utilized people's situations
Yeah.
to get where they need where he want them to be, where his
Exactly.
calling is.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
are destined. When you're destined, you always find
That's it.
yourself going through to get
Yeah.
there for just the time as this.
For
And he's
yes.
going to when
Yeah.
you he's going to hold you accountable. When you said I am, I love Zachary's story because he said I'm gonna never forget that because he said Burger King. He made kids in Burger King, okay, and the king came in and stepped in, and
Yes.
yours was a commitment
Yeah.
where you even before you knew
Oof.
you was going to go through this, before
Exactly.
the
Me and
before
Yes.
all of it.
Zach wrote back and forth while I was in jail.
Wow.
See,
Wow.
see. I mean, isn't that how God do? Hey,
Yes.
isn't
Yes.
that how He
Yes.
work?
And
Amen.
we spoke last week about covenants. When you enter into
Yes.
a covenant
Woo.
with
Don't play
God,
about it.
it is if you don't play. You're right. Don't play. It is something totally different than saying, "Lord, help me with this," and so on and so forth. But when you a covenant is where you make a promise to God,
Yes.
and
Listen, I
He's
was
God's
gone
not
gonna
going to allow you
hold
to go
you
back
that
on your
same weekend.
word.
People thought I was dead. People thought I was dead. I was gone. Like, no.
He held you to it, girl. He was holding you
He go,
to it
yeah.
because you have those babies you have to take care of.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly.
And what his promise is for you in the near future and your endeavors.
Exactly.
So how can I get your attention if I'm
That's right.
allowing you to continue to do the things that you're doing and it's not going to get me where I need. You're not giving me the glory. You glorifying you and
Exactly.
this
Mhm.
man and everything else
Exactly.
around you.
Mhm.
And now I'm sitting here and now you promised me something and you ain't gonna take it.
That's
I'm gonna
Woo.
right.
take it.
I'm gonna tell you. That's
I'm gonna
it. You better
give you.
say it.
I'm gonna give you.
you, you better
I
say
know.
it. We,
Exactly.
you,
I know.
woo,
I
Exactly.
know. It's not even a
because
thing that I'm sitting here just listening to your story. I've
yeah,
been
because when you
to
get to that point of
jail.
entering into a covenant with God, that is at your most broken point.
Oh yeah.
That is your most
Yes.
broken point, and that is when you cry out, and at that point you have all that you have is your faith, your hope, and your trust, and
Yes,
God is
ma'am.
going to give you His grace, His favor, and His mercy.
Yes.
But you got to be ready to
Yes.
don't get out
I
there and
was
play,
just
but
gonna
you got
say
to
you
be
have to
ready.
be. You have to be because
And
Yes,
not.
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
He was preparing you from the womb.
Yes,
You said some
ma'am.
key things in there about how you were raised up and you had the honor and privilege of your great grandmother and all those and because I had my great grandmother, my
Yes.
grandmother, my mom, my dad, all those people in my life. And when I look back and different things play back in my mind, I was like, oh my Lord, you already preparing me 25 years
Yes.
ago for this
Yes.
very moment. And,
Exactly.
and, and once you enter into a covenant with God, you're able to reach back and grab hold to some of that armor that He
Yes.
already gave you, some of those weapons that He gave you to defend yourself moving forward.
Yep.
Girl,
Thank
your
you,
story.
Lord.
Woo.
That story is
Thank you,
awesome.
Lord.
And I bet you a lot of these people that watching can relate to, just being disobedient. Because disobedience, I rather obey
Woo.
than get sacrificed. I'm
Yes.
learning that at a very
Woo.
young
You said
age.
Yes, you better say that.
yes.
When God uses you, you gonna feel it. Yeah, you might get
Yes.
that spanking from mommy and daddy and grandma and all that stuff. But when it's his turn to make his promise work, that you have given him, he's gonna take you through. You're gonna get there though. One thing
Exactly.
he never put on you that you can't bear. So you bear down and know that, and put on your seatbelt because when you make a promise to God, that's like making a promise that you cannot, or never
Exactly.
fulfill. You
Exactly.
Yes.
he, you got to do it. You got to. He
You know,
know your heart. He knew where you was at. He knew what you
exactly.
needed.
And I wanted to say too,
Yes.
we have to really start taking accountability for the way that we are, especially as women. And I just wanted to say, some of us have not had the best parents. Like my mother called my grandmother when I was born. She told her, if you don't come get her from this hospital, she's staying here. Like that's the type of person, And me and my mom, we're okay now. I understand, you know. But just remember that, in Ezekiel it says, after you understand right from wrong, your parents are not responsible for your
That's
sin,
right. Ooh.
especially if your parents already turned away from it. So stop being bitter at your parents and
Mm.
understand that they were just a vessel and go on with your
That's
life and be a
right.
better person.
That's right,
That's
y'all.
right.
And whatever you do,
Jesus.
make sure it's pleasing to God because, at the end of the day, He's in control of everything.
That's
He's
it.
at the divine
Wow.
appointment. And that's why I just look at my life and I'm like, I done been Rahab, I done been Esther, I done been Ruth, I done been, and I done been. And it's like,
Got a little bit of
I done been the woman at the
All of them.
well. Like,
yes,
Jesus,
ma'am.
don't you come over here with this. You don't know
Yes.
about these
Come on, niggas. I
hands.
don't even know. I got the t-shirt and everything, baby.
Look, so it's like, it's up to us. We make a choice to make sure that we're mentally aware, spiritually aware, spiritually discerning, especially when these men come in. If that man, if his heart is not after God, believe me, his heart is not going to be after you. It's, it's,
That's
it's not his heart. It's
Right.
not his,
that's
it's not his
it.
big head
Yeah.
taking it.
Right.
Mhm.
So
And he learned about you when he was sending you. He was sending you into danger. He was
Mhm.
yes,
pulling it out the
yes,
house. He was, your children, your family there. I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, I concur. I can understand. And you got to sometimes look beyond what you see when
yes,
it comes to you think love is, and when you think, and especially when you don't know what it is, when you don't have that father
exactly.
figure to show you, the opening up the doors or how to go out and eat and way a man should treat you, and
Yeah,
you kind of do it on your own, and then you got your own concept of it,
yes,
and then here they come,
Mhm.
here
yes,
they come, and then they just because they tell you something that you haven't heard, you start believing. And now here you are doing all the things that you do just to find and keep that love. Like someone said, it was a you find looking for love in the wrong places. This one, it was a you were looking for love in the wrong places. It's understandable because of what you went through. Yes.
yeah, because it's like that. Like as a child, when you have a traumatic upbringing, so much gets taken away, and you have to learn how to emotionally deal with things that as a child you
Mhm.
really shouldn't have to. So you grow up as an adult, and you're thinking, you know, you're getting your life on track, but you're still that little person on the inside. You're still that
Right.
little
That's right.
child, and it's just like after a while, you start noticing patterns, and it's just like, you know, when am I going to be accountable for myself? I could keep going back and
Mm.
pointing the finger and saying, "No, you did this. No, you did this," but you know,
Mm.
not looking forward, like looking for
Ooh.
my own life because I didn't want to face myself. I
Yeah.
didn't want to face the ugly truth. You know, I didn't want to face the fact that because of my anger and because of my sin, I had
Jesus.
dragged myself through the road and gotten my own self dirty. Thinking
Ooh.
that I'm getting back at somebody, thinking that
Yeah.
I'm hurting somebody by hurting myself.
Ooh.
It's, it's just crazy. That's why I'm like, mental health for women, especially single mothers, is so important. It's important that they know the love of God so that nobody can just come and just sweep you off your feet by saying, whispering sweet nothing.
That's right. That's
Women
right.
need to know about soul ties. Women need to know that it doesn't matter if you're protected or not. When you engage in that and having sex with someone who you should be married to, you know, you're taking on their stuff. You're taking
Yep.
off
Mhm.
whoever they had and whoever they had before
Exactly.
Mhm.
that. That's why I'm like, women, we need to get ourselves together. The men, since the beginning of the Bible, they've always been who they are, but we are placed for a reason. We're multifaceted. You know,
That's right.
God used a different tool to create us. He didn't just make us from the dirt.
That's
That's
right.
right.
So you have to try to get your mental health together so that at least you could build generations of children who are healthy and don't have to see you going through these things.
Right.
That's right.
And
That's
that's what I'm
right.
like,
It's hard.
Wow.
I have to see a Bible
You don't.
study. I
You
have to
don't
talk to
really
them.
know. You don't really know as a kid how your life is because your norm when you raised up in a house is normal.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like you
yep,
don't know if you're poor if your parents don't let you know you're poor. You just know everything is normal. This is what
Yeah.
normal is. But then as you grow up and you realize that there was some voids in there, then
yep,
you kind of
Yeah.
move towards where the voids was to fill the voids, but what you already had installed in you sits to this corner somewhere. But when
Mhm.
it's time, believe me, it's going to come out. That's that grace, mercy
yes,
that you
Favor.
get from
Yes.
God,
yes,
Yeah.
all the blessings He gives you during the time that you stray away and
Yeah.
all those things like that. And then when you come back, it seems like it's a greater relationship. You understand that
Yeah.
the void that you was looking for wasn't out in the world in the first place. It was in
Yeah.
Him, and
exactly.
you have to trust
Yeah.
in God. You
You know
just got
how that old saying goes, you'll understand it by and by.
Woo,
And
bye
that's a
and bye.
true by and by. That is a
Woo,
true statement.
true statement.
And something else that
Definitely.
you said, Miss Evelyn, was being accountable,
yep,
taking accountability. And I
yep.
remember when I was, I tell anybody 5 times anger management and 1 time
Woo,
counseling.
same
But
here,
before, yes, but before I
same
could
here.
get there, my
Yep,
BFF said something to me that was so impactful. I can't even say that it was powerful. It was impactful. She said to me, "You can't keep running around pointing the finger at everybody else. You got to ask yourself, what role
Who do you
did
play?
you play in anything
yep,
that occurred?" I
yep.
got upset. I got pissed off. I was like, "Wait a minute now. I'm turning it." And but that God kept putting it back. He kept playing it back in my mind, playing it back in my mind. And then when I had to look in the mirror, there was so many things that I could have done different, that I could have said different,
Yes.
that I should have done differently. That put me into a place where I became this person. Hey, I just want to talk to you for a minute. I really want to apologize to you for some things, whatever, whatever. And it wasn't for those people, and I'm grateful that they accepted it, you know. But it was for me. That's how the healing began.
Right.
And it
Exactly.
was a long road. Marvina can tell you it was a long road. It wasn't something that was overnight. And so when we're talking to our viewers, it's healing is not overnight. It is a process. I say this all the time. It's like taking a band-aid off of a wound that needs stitches, and it heals
Exactly.
slowly and surely over time. But you got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to look at you. If you want
Exactly.
change, or if you want change to occur, you have to change the narrative.
Yes.
And
Woo.
changing the narrative starts with looking in the mirror and being accountable for the things that you do. Somebody
Right.
said
Amen.
to me, "How is that you get bent out of shape sometimes about the stuff that people say?" And I said, "Because they shouldn't, whatever, whatever." And then somebody said to me, "Well, what about the things that you say?"
Yes.
I thought about that for a minute. And there again, my BFF
Mm-hmm.
coming to me one day and telling me, saying, "Hey, I don't particularly care for this person, but the way you spoke to her made you into an
Yes.
entirely different person. Someone I don't even know or
Yes.
recognize." She said, "I've never heard you speak like that before."
Yes.
So
And
I had to go back and check myself. I kept
Amen.
finding myself in positions to where I had to check me. And whoo,
Mm-hmm.
Lord
I
have
hold
mercy.
accountability for a lot of things. I have to do an inventory. Realizing why I did what I did, or if I did what I did made any sense, or but until I realize that it's nothing but what my process, I can't keep beating myself up about it, and I cannot keep allowing people to see me as that person if I don't see me as that person. So I had to change
Exactly.
my mind. I had to change the way I
Mhm.
thought about me and the way I see me for me to get where God needed me to be. These are all for our testimony. I told you that that day, and I'm still to continue to say that to you, lady girl. This is for our testimony. So you have a little site. I wanted to write. You got a you started a foundation. What can you tell them a little bit about that little foundation you got going on?
Well, when I was incarcerated, I would see a lot of people, a lot of women. They would come in, and believe it or not, a lot of them were in there for helping a man commit a crime. Some of them were in for child abuse, child neglect, a lot of drug users, and to watch how I polluted my community, and to see some of those same ladies come in and try to detox from this poison, and it still kind of bothers me, but only to leave out and then start using again and pass away is just, you know, it's just a horrible disservice. It's horrible because I just never thought I would be that type of person. Usually a lot of things have been taken from me, and it wasn't me taken from, anybody. So I started thinking to myself, like, where does it start? What is the most important aspect of this? And although it is important to have a man in the household, I never want to minimize a father's role at all. It's important for a woman to have her mental health awareness, have the proper etiquette, know how to properly speak, know the God she serves and how he sees her.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, wow, women of worship. Like, we can do this, we can do serve women, we can serve the children, we can teach them about God, we can lift them up, we can do Bible study. And this will help because you have no idea how many times I would be sitting in the bathroom in jail. And because all the toilets are right next to each other, somebody would sit down next to me and be like, Eve, I need a Dr. Phil moment. And I'd be like, Madam, madam, I need you to just sit down a little, sit down there a
Oh,
minute.
the toilet bowl.
But people started asking me to pray for them, and we would fellowship, and I came up with all these great ideas. So I'm like, you know what? When I got out, I started a Bible study with me and a friend of mine. Her name is Charity. And it was just me and her because she was like, Eve, you just know your Bible so well and you're so patient with me. And her brother was my ex, and he died in a car accident while we were together. So when I tell you what's in my
Jesus.
bag, it's just like,
Mm.
I've lost a lot. I lost my first brother who I had just recently met, and after 2 years, gun violence took him. My stepbrother recently died. Like, I'm talking about, I'm watching people's assignments get cut short. So,
Mm.
the group went from two people to Zach. Zach was pushing me the whole time. He was like, when are you going to start the group? When is we finna do this Bible study? When is we finna do this outreach? When is we finna go? And I'm like, I had a fear because I know what God purposed me to be, and I'm just so scared of the grandiosity of it all. How
Wow.
good God is,
Jesus.
and
Wow.
people being like, "Oh, you're doing this? Like, wasn't you?" And that was my biggest fear. So when we did Wow Women of Worship outreach, I went ahead and did, started the nonprofit, and I'm like, I just want to help women near and far and help the children so that we can have healthier households and build these legacies. Like, and that way you can understand your husband better. That way you won't be a nagging wife. That way you can understand that a wife's job is to pray for her husband. You let God work on that man. Let God work on people's hearts. Stop
Mm.
thinking you got to bring everybody with you. And that's the problem with our people.
Yes.
We're afraid to be intelligent in front of other people. Like, going back into the hood,
Mm.
they think you too smart, and oh, you too good. Well, guess what? In God's eyes, I am too good for this, and He removed me from this place. Now, either
Mm.
you coming in through the door or you not. And 9 times out of 10, everybody's not meant to come through the same door. So when your blessings are being held up, look around you. Look
Mhm.
around you.
Mhm.
You can't force people to come through. So started Bible study and doing our Bible studies, recording them. Know, I started joining other nonprofit organizations, and I feel like the work that I could do is by speaking and teaching. And people know you're not the only one.
Right.
You're not the only one. I was in Chicago walking a track when I was in my. I mean, listen, God has something for you. Rahab is in the line of Jesus. It's other
Mm.
women on the line of Jesus that we questionable, and they're in his bloodline because God still deems you fit. He didn't come to save people who were already cured.
Right.
So it just doesn't make any sense. And that's why I say, if you have church hurt as well, ladies, men, let go. Let it
That's
go
right.
and build your relationship with God so you stop using that as a crutch and excuse.
Right. Right.
And
And
that's
the
why
women in
I'm like,
church hurt.
I have to build this organization. And
Wow.
I do the catering thing on the side because I'm hoping that in the future I could feed the hungry.
Mm.
Yes.
And I could do it through this catering business. You support me, I support somebody who needs the support. You guys give a voice to the
Mm-hmm.
voiceless, and I'm trying to give power to the powerless.
Oh, I love it.
Power to the
So,
powerless.
that's what I'm for. And I just have this feeling, and again, I say that the fear is crippling, but I've come to the point where, like, even my dad is coming to church with me now. He hasn't been to church since he was an altar boy.
Wow.
So I'm trying to win souls. Even if it's my own soul entangled right now, I'm still in sin. I still do things that I don't feel are right, but I know to crawl back through the throne. I know to,
Not far. You
Yes.
won't be
you
far.
know,
You ain't straying that
Yeah.
far. He
exactly.
messes with that little inner spirit right there. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
And we
Because
go
every time my pastor shoot me, she be like, "Let me just," and I'll be like, "Calm down, wait."
so
You
the
know?
Instagram pretty girl love food. Is that your catering business?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So you're doing catering up there, over there. So do you send food away, or do you deliver? How is this catering work?
Listen, don't get Zach excited. I could overnight something now. Look, I could overnight something, but
Okay.
yeah, God has blessed me with that, with a passion for food, and it's always been something that I loved,
Right.
and I love to bring people together. So it was just like the perfect timing, for me. And I always pray to God to give me something that I could give to my children.
Mm.
And it's
Yes.
just amazing. And just to give another piece of me, like
Yes.
recently I was just praying to God, please God, I want a house. I want a house, God. I want my children to be able to just run around. And not only was I selected for housing, I work for the housing department. So, be specific with God and be
Yeah.
intentional and start doing
Yes.
the work. Start
Yes,
doing the
ma'am.
work.
Yes.
Stop looking at that man and being like, oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to be. No, no, no. You're not doing what you're
You
supposed to be
supposed to do.
doing.
You
Yes.
better say it.
God called on you,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you wasting your time. And that's why I'm like, I just had to stop. And I was just speaking to my sister about this, stop telling everybody everything.
Woo!
Stop
Hallelujah.
telling everybody everything because not everybody is ready
Yes.
to hear it. Not everybody's
Mm.
ready to
And
receive it.
nope.
Mm.
And they taint it. They don't want you to have
Yes.
it. It's
Yes.
like a competition out
Woo.
here.
You better
They want
Exactly.
say it.
attention. They
And I
taint
told her, you're going to be like Joseph. They're going to throw you in a hole.
right.
What?
They're going to
Woo.
sell you to that
Right.
caravan because you won't be quiet sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes
That's it.
it's just for
God work.
you.
Yes.
I
It's
say the
just for
best
you.
words that are spoken are the ones that are never said.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
don't
Ooh,
have to put everything
listen,
out there.
Yes.
listen.
God
Mm.
can't work when everybody's in it.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Especially
There you go. You,
the ones that don't want you to get anywhere or go
mm-mm.
anywhere. They're
Mm-mm.
this is that's a whole nother topic. We ain't even
That
gonna
listen.
baby, because I
Let
got a
me
whole lot to say about that. And I will
look.
not
I got a
go
couple
there.
more things in my bag here.
Me too, girl. I need to get mine too. That bag is full.
Woo.
My God.
Yes.
And I know mine is. I can't even
Oh
lift it. I just
Listen.
drag it along.
yeah, we gonna be here
Exactly.
for another hour, and we can't do it because these people got things to do.
Whew.
We know y'all got things to do. We appreciate y'all for being part of what's in the bag. I know we done went over our little hour time, but we're asking everyone now if you want to be part of what's in the bag on Facebook, come on and join in. Please comment. Please post some stuff. Post some stuff.
Ask some questions. Ask
Ask some
yourself a
questions.
That's
question.
right.
These
Asking all the
people got
questions.
to post
Ask.
somebody. I mean, y'all be on here just looking. Why y'all just looking? I mean,
Hmm.
I guess that's what makes y'all who y'all are, but I'm not trying to change you. But sometimes you got to realize even your comments, your questions and stuff helps other people. Don't you
Yes.
want
Yep.
to be a service? I do. That's why
That's
I'm
right.
Yep.
here. That's what what's in the bag is
We
for.
Look, I
already
am.
planted the seed.
Exactly. And you
We
may
already
not
planted
think
the
that you're
seed.
helping, but you are. You're really helping by just
Yeah.
commenting and being part of what we got going on here. And of course, YouTube 21 on YouTube, we got West of the Bag 21. If you want to look at the videos, it's a whole lot. You wait till next year. We got some. Oh, next year when these videos start coming in, y'all gonna be like, that girl done
That's right.
changed
That's
that.
right.
She done changed up. We got a team. We were doing a call to action, and now, Lord,
And when I tell you,
Yes.
God has just been
doing so
Yes.
well.
dropping the
So
right
y'all
person
watch out. And I
in
always
for the
say
Yes.
right
whatever is attached to me is
spot.
gonna grow.
Amen.
Mm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
that. This is our baby, and definitely gonna we definitely gonna grow. And also, well, you can look at me on TikTok if y'all want to get a little laughs. I throw a little few up
Hey.
on reels, but I like TikTok because
Laughter
I
is
can
good
be
for the
myself.
soul.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm funny. I don't care if nobody say. Y'all
I
may
was
not.
gonna say it help you lose weight because I'll be having that little thing right there that I
Girl,
just be.
No, and I be dancing it, girl. Yvonne said that's how you losing so much weight. You always
look,
dancing.
I lost. Let my best friend tell me I lost my neck somewhere. She told me I shouldn't be doing turtle
Girl,
necks. I
I'll
should
be
just have
like,
a turtle.
mm-mm, can't tell me
I see
nothing.
my mama neck.
My
When I
turtleneck
see my
rolled
mama
down.
neck,
I didn't even. She said,
Man,
y'all crazy.
listen, don't let me see that picture before you post it up now. People do you
We
bogus.
"Oh
put that on
my God,
there. That's what we do.
that's what we
We
do."
love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We gonna get on out of here. Love to just be here all day, but I got things to do. It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And Lord have
Yes,
mercy, we get ready to sing tonight. We got to sing. Y'all tune into a Word of Faith Love Center tonight. I think we are going live. Normally we do.
I
Tune in
hope
if
so,
you
cause
ain't
normally I'm
doing
in church
anything.
on New Year's Eve, so I'm hoping
yeah,
that they go
Yeah,
live.
yeah. So we might be going live. I hope we go live because I'm ready to rejoice with y'all people, have some good time, have some fun.
Yeah.
Y'all love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all thank God. We thank God for y'all. I promise you we do.
Yes.
We thank God for y'all and everything.
absolutely.
Let me go ahead on and say that. And what you say, Yvonne? Let them know. What's the
Hey, get out there and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful New Year's Eve. And
yes.
as always, stay blessed, be a blessing, and have a blessed day.
Hey, we love you. Thank
Yes,
y'all for joining us today. See you next year. Thank you, Eva. We love you, girl. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much for
thank
sharing your
you.
Oh,
story.
we'll be
You're very
back.